Tiffany Haynes Company coordinates the 1% Club Conference with Eric Thomas, Tiffany Montgomery, and Jamal King. We're headed to London. I'm going to take you with me. And as a bonus, I'm going to share with you the number one thing I've learned from each speaker. The number one thing, which was so hard to narrow down, from each speaker that has made my business more efficient. Let's go to London. We're in London. So we got in yesterday. You probably saw some footage. Yesterday was setup day, and we tried to get out a little bit in the city, but it's really hard to do the day before the conference. So it's the day of the conference. It's about 5 a.m. in the morning, and we head down to get set up. Everybody starts coming in about 7, and we start things off at 8 o'clock. As promised, I will deliver the 3 things from each speaker that has made my business more efficient. But London is beautiful. Look at the skyline. Hopefully I got a good view for you. So, headed down. I'll show you some footage of us finishing up setup this morning. And then also, as the people come in, and I'll try my best to get a couple of clips during the conference. But for now, I have to sign off and get to work, and I'll check in later. So we're in London, y'all. I'm glad you were able to come along. But what I want to do is I don't want you to just come with me on a work trip, on / vacation. We were able to pull off an incredible conference. But what I wanted to do is share with you 3 tips, one from each speaker, just one, as hard as that was for me, that have made my business more efficient. What did I learn from them after working with them now for over a year with the 1% Club Conference, and then just being ingrained in their story for even longer? What have I learned from them that made my business more efficient? I want to share that with you. I also will have my handout where you can ask yourself some of the same questions that it triggered for me as I was learning these things from them on how you can implement the same thing. All right, so first up, Jamal King, also known as a 9-to-5 millionaire. Why is he known as a 9-to-5 millionaire? Because he worked for the police department in the city of Chicago for 20 years. Meanwhile, he built 3 multi-million-dollar businesses. Never quit his job, never took an extended vacation, never did anything that impacted his career. His family history was embedded in the city of Chicago and the police department, so that was important to him. And as he's told me many times, it was still a stream of income with benefits and things that he didn't want to let go of. And so every business he built it in the mind frame and with the mindset that he would not be able to physically be there every day. And so that is something that I've learned from him. How can I create the processes? How can I create businesses? How can I still keep the camaraderie of my business, still keep the momentum of my business, but not it create a block or a wall around me of tasks and responsibilities where I have to constantly be there, where I can't be the visionary because I'm bombarded with actual tasks, and where I'm never able to work, on my business because I'm working in my business. He's the epitome of that. He owns multiple daycare chains in the city of Chicago, a security business where he helps and provides jobs to his off-duty police officers. Also a construction company, but his bread and butter and his claim to fame were how he really was able to kind of break that financial tradition of poverty over his family was he invested in real estate. And he started off not knowing anything and now has been a real estate investor for over 20 years, all while working his job. And so the number one thing that I want you to do as an exercise is to write down for yourself and answer this question for you. If I were to go away for 6 months, maybe you have to go overseas. You have no phone access, no internet access. You're gone for 6 months. How can you create a business? How can you create systems where when you return, your business is better than it was when you left? Better, not the same, not at least still afloat, not maintaining, better than it was when you left. Because obviously what he created became better even while he was working a 9-to-5, because they all have grossed over $1 million. And so that is the goal that I want you to do. How can you make it better? And just pick 2 to 3 things that you feel like you can do. Don't overwhelm yourself. Even if you list out 10 ideas, pick out 2 to 3 things that you know you can do, and then set a deadline where you're going to make those transformations in your business. And it'll always improve the efficiency of your business. And it'll always improve a healthier lifestyle with a work-life balance that seems impossible to create. You'll feel like it's becoming a more healthier balance for you because you're creating things that can work independently of you. Get out of your ego, get out of the mindset that you have to be there for every moment of every day, and create some systems in your business that work beautifully without you being involved. That's good stuff. Okay. Person number 2. All right. Tiffany Montgomery, a dear friend of mine. We work closely together, and I have truly enjoyed what I've learned from her over the course of this year. It was very hard for me to pick one. Like it really was hard. You really have to go check her out yourself and see just how incredible she is. But the number one thing that I've learned from her, which is probably the biggest kryptonite to an entrepreneur, is trying to do too many things at once. Her biggest thing that I've noticed that solidifies her success is she only focuses on one thing at a time. So publicly, right? She might have different projects she's working on behind the scenes. Publicly, she's known for going live, every live video, every Facebook, Instagram post, every email, every time you hear her voice, she's being herself. She's talking about what her audience wants to hear, and she's promoting one thing at a time. One thing at a time. This is so hard for entrepreneurs to do. Even myself, anytime I think about it, I get a little nauseous, because what happens is most people don't have the patience to do this. Most people don't have the discipline to do this, to just promote one thing, because if you don't get traction on that one thing, you're like, well, I'll put this with it. Look, you can get this and this. Or you'll say, okay, well, forget about this. Let's just promote this next thing that I have, or these next 2 things that I have. And she has the discipline, the patience, the tenacity, the relentlessness to promote one thing. And I remember probably about 6 months ago when she was promoting the merch on her website, because she doesn't, one thing means one thing. Like, you literally cannot buy a t-shirt from her because she promotes her merch all at the same time. And then once it sells out, then she promotes a program. Like, I know it's like, as you're listening to me, you're like, I could never. But it has solidified her success. But I remember asking her, I said, Tiff, when are you going to launch this program? She goes, well, I need to sell out of the merch on my website and then I'll launch it. Sell out of the merch on my website and then I'll launch it. Most of us don't have the discipline to do that. We don't have the patience to do that, but she does. And it has made her a self-made millionaire. And so I make a plea to you is to look at now your website, your verbiage on your social media, just how you're speaking to your audience. Are you promoting too many things at once? How can you solidify it and focus on one thing at a time? Maybe you don't take it off the website, but anytime they hear your voice, or maybe anytime they get an email from you, you can consolidate down and focus on one thing, because you're only going to come off more genuine. You're only going to come off like you truly want to help someone when you're just saying, this is the one thing that I want to promote right now. All your energy goes to that one thing. All your team is focused on promoting that one thing, and then transition to the next thing. So ask yourself that question, right? On the download, it simply asks, how many things am I promoting right now? And how can I consolidate and promote one thing? So anyway, so that is just an incredible tip that I've learned from Tiffany Montgomery. The final, the incomparable number one motivational speaker in the world, E.T. the hip hop preacher, is the final speaker that I want to share my tip from. This one was actually easy, right? Because there's one tool that he's provided me that he has shown me how to use in my business, in my life, that is the most important thing. For the rest of my life, I'll probably use this tool, and that's the flight assessment. So there's an assessment. He came out, I'll show some pictures. He came out and actually did the facilitation of this assessment with my team. And basically from the assessment, you find out if you're one of 4 people: a pilot, a flight attendant, grounds crew, or air traffic control. And I was able to identify very quickly who everyone in my company was. Prior to them taking the test, I had my own assumptions of who I thought they would be. And some of them I was completely wrong. And that was very revealing to me. And to know that I had a flight attendant doing an air traffic control's job, just think about that. Just in the logical world we live in now, and how that would be now if you took the flight attendant who loves to be around people and create an experience and interact and have a good time and make sure that as people are coming on board the plane and leaving the plane, they feel good about themselves and say, hey, why don't you sit in front of a desk and look at analytics and make sure that we don't crash into each other. Like, they might be able to pull it off for a while, but every single day I'm asking them to do something that is not charging their battery, right? I'm asking them to do something that's draining their battery, and all I had to do was make a shift and put them in a position where they were able to do something that charged their battery. That happened to at least 4 people in my company after I had the flight assessment. And so it just was an incredible difference, a significant impact financially, camaraderie, them having that information and tool for the test. They knew what to ask of me. I was a pilot, right? So I'm a natural born leader, but my flight attendants that I had doing paperwork, I said, you know what? Scratch that. You get on the phone. You enjoy this. Why don't you start to create what we can do as a company that keeps our spirits up and our morales up? And what are the things that we do to make sure we all stay connected? Can you work on that for me? Now I'm giving them something to do that was charging their batteries. And then for my people that were naturally air traffic control, I gave them those analytical positions. And I said, you don't have to be on the phone. If you have something where you're constantly on the phone, I'll give that project to a flight attendant. And so that was a game changer for me. I now leverage this tool in my marriage, with my children, with family. I leverage this tool for every single thing surrounding me so that I can make sure that I'm positioned in a way where I can be successful, and I position people where they can be successful. And so that is the number one tip that I've learned from Eric Thomas. So if you've never taken the flight assessment, I'll put a link down below in the description. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed watching all the footage from London. If you found value in this, please give us a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.